Hey there, Aubrey. How's it going today?
I'm great, Lindsay. I have a question for you. This is a pretty big question.
Okay.
What is something you wish for your future?
Oh my gosh, that is a really big question, Aubrey.
It's a big one. And not everything, but like one thing.
I think just balance, right? So a good balance of not going too heavy in any one area, not overloading it with career and getting obsessed, but also having a good family life, a good social life, balance. Yes.
Love that. Yes. So that's a pretty big, right? It's very overarching. Why wouldn't you answer that with like, I wish to eat dessert tonight or something small
maybe
like
I
that?
should have. I don't know.
No.
I kind of want ice cream.
Because when I asked you, right, what is something you wish for your future? That would be strange to answer it with like something immediate and small,
Unless
right?
you're trying to be funny or something.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. You could do it to be silly.
Yeah. This is really, though, you gave me some cues, right? That meant you were looking for a big answer about the future, right? So you said future, you said wish, right? So it's a more...
And just this chunk, wish for. What do you wish for your future? Implies these like bigger wants and wishes, right?
Yes.
So this is interesting. This was inspired by a question asked in our Q&A by Elizabeth, one of our amazing students. And she had said to a friend, I wish for my son to be an upstanding citizen. And the friend corrected her and said, that's much too formal. And so then she was asking, could I say I would like for my son to be an upstanding member of the community, or should I be saying something else? We had an amazing conversation about it, and I'm excited to share that with you guys today.
All right, good. I love it. So the Q&A is what our students get when they join a personal coach plan in any of our courses. And that's, you're invited to an extra day each week. Aubrey, you're running them, and you sit down with other students from other courses. You get to ask direct questions from that course, right?
And they're always amazing. All of these students have such insightful questions, things that are coming up as they are building fluency or things they're learning in their course that they're taking through All Ears English. And it's always a really, really interesting conversation.
Totally cool. Really good stuff. So let's walk us through, Aubrey, if you could walk us through what we need to know for today.
Yeah, so we're going through a few phrases because some phrases are best for big wishful thoughts and some are more appropriate for smaller wishes or just things that you want, right?
Yes, good. So the first example is, I wish for a life that feels meaningful. And just by signaling, by putting, I wish for a life that X, you're already signaling that you're talking about something big. Right?
Exactly right. Or I wish for harmony in my family. I wish for peace in the world, right? These are big wishful thoughts that we use this chunk for. I wish for.
And what does for do here, Aubrey?
Yeah, that's really what changes it. Because if you look at these same sentences with just, I wish I had, or I wish I could, right? I wish I had a pizza right now. I wish I could, right? It feels more like it would lend to smaller things.
Yes, exactly. Okay, that's like, I want a bowl of ice cream tonight. I wish I had a bowl of ice cream in front of me, right? Yes.
Exactly. And you could use those constructions as well for these bigger things, but we wouldn't say like, I wish for a bowl of ice cream, unless we're talking to a genie. We just don't use that in daily conversations to say smaller things that we want.
Yeah, it's a really different kind of register going on here. Set of vocabulary words that signal the tone of the gravity of the conversation, right?
Right. So it's interesting to think about, when Elizabeth said this to her friend, I disagree that this is too formal or it wouldn't be appropriate because to say, I wish for my son to be an upstanding citizen is one of those big hopes, big wishes. It's perfect for that. Yeah. Right. I can see maybe this, even if that's a native speaker, they hear this construction and they're thinking, oh, that sounds formal, but actually that's the perfect context to use that.
I agree. I don't see any issue with that. Yeah, 100%. What about,
I agree.
What about using I would like for? Now, this is a unique construction that I feel like maybe a lot of our listeners, it might be new for them.
Yeah, it might be. And it's interesting because this was Elizabeth's sort of second look. Okay, should I use this instead? I would like for my son to be an upstanding member of the community. Also, excellent. Both of those work perfectly because these are both big wish. I would like for my son to be a good person. Means the same as I wish for my son to be a good person, right? So those are both perfect, interchangeable. But it's interesting because this is also for big wishful thoughts, but can be for sort of smaller things, but that would still be meaningful in some way.
Yeah, exactly. So here's some here's something a little bit more practical. Maybe you're having a dispute with your neighbor, right? I would like for this to be resolved soon. So this is not necessarily a big life thing. It doesn't have to be, but you're expressing your desire or your goal. Right?
Exactly. Or I would like for us to move forward. That could be about a project at work or a contract or a personal matter. But it's really interesting to look at how this construction creates a little bit of distance, because it's so much more direct to say, I want this to be resolved soon, or I want us to move forward. Instead, we use this chunk. I would like for this to be resolved soon. It's respectful. It creates distance.
Yeah, and it's important to contrast it. We're going to talk now about I want, which is I think the one our listeners know, right?
Yep.
Versus I would like for. I mean, again, what is the difference there between I want and I would like for?
And first, just to point out, because it's really interesting also to look at just, I would like for something to happen, and removing the for. I would like to have, right? Then, of course, you can just say like, I'd like to have chicken for dinner, right? Without the for, it really removes that bigger feel of it, the distance, and it means the same as like I want chicken for dinner.
Right.
I would like chicken for dinner.
Right. So if I go to my neighbor and I say I would like for this to, let's say this dispute to be resolved soon versus I want this dispute to be resolved soon. Like you said, Aubrey, it creates a little distance, but there's also a level of politeness and indirectness, kind of respect, politeness, formality, as opposed to I want this to be resolved soon can be quite direct and casual, potentially too casual for a neighbor if you're not close to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. That's often how we add that politeness and respect in English, at least in the States, is through our language, through the word choice, how direct what we're saying is.
Oh, this is good. I'm getting prepared here because we're currently having a dispute with our neighbor because they put solar panels on our roof, on our property line.
Really?
Yeah, not good, right? So we need the language because, of course, you need to maintain a good relationship with your neighbor. We're in townhomes, so we sort of share a roof, kind of, right? They all run in a line, our 4 homes. And the words do matter. And I'm sure our listeners will find themselves in similar scenarios where connection matters, words matter.
Yes. I think you just need to demand some of that solar energy that's on your roof. So they need to funnel it onto your bill.
That savings.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is interesting. As you mentioned, this is the most accessible. It's the most direct, right? I might say to my kids, I want you to clean your room because I'm intentionally being very direct.
To your kids, totally, 100%. And you're able to do that. You're the mother, right? You're allowed to say what you want in your household. Or I want my son to be an upstanding citizen. Okay, so here we have that goal, right?
This is interesting. It's that same statement. And we can just use I want. We don't have to use these less common phrases. We can, but you could also just say, I want my son to be an upstanding citizen.
Yeah,
that
totally
works
legit.
Too.
Totally. We have some wiggle room, right? There are no hard and fast rules of what you can and can't say when stating future goals versus immediate goals, less important goals, etc. Right?
Exactly. It just is sort of the tone of like, does this feel like a big, lofty, important thing, or are you just sort of directly stating something you want?
Exactly. So good. All right, Aubrey, let's go into a role play here. So in this example, we are friends planning an upcoming weekend. Sounds good.
Yes. Okay. I'll start us out.
Yeah.
Are you still free to hang out this weekend?
Yes. I want to get out of the city, though, and do something different.
Same. Any ideas?
I don't even care, honestly. I just would like to have no schedule, no alarms, and no emails.
That sounds amazing. Honestly, that is my wish for the rest of my life.
Oh, you definitely need a break. Burnout, right? Burnout.
I kind of love this. Let's go through it here. And this is a fun way to use this chunk at the end.
Yeah, really good. So you said, are you still free to hang out this weekend? And I said, yeah, I want to get out of the city and do something different. So we're friends, we're casual. It would be a little weird you could say I would like for us to get out of the city, but it implies like a bit more intention. Like, I don't know, what would be the connotation?
Yeah, it's more interesting. Yeah. I would like for does feel less conversational, like bigger. You could say I would like to get out of the city. Yeah. This is very similar to I want. Right. We use those both pretty interchangeably. Yeah. But here I wish for or I would like for both would feel too big for just a weekend getaway.
I agree. Too big. We're just talking about the weekend plans, right? We're not talking about our hopes and dreams in life. Okay.
Right. So, yes. Right. So then you said, I just would like to have have no schedule. And this want would work as well. They're usually quite interchangeable. You could definitely say, I just want to have no schedule, no alarms, no emails.
But wish here wouldn't really work, right? I wish for no schedule. I mean, maybe wistfully you could say it, right? But not really. Not really.
Right, right. The way it does kind of work is what I sort of say back, right? I'm like, honestly, that's my wish for the rest of my life. I'm making it bigger.
Yes.
Like, oh, that sounds amazing. Can we just do that forever from now on?
Right. That's what you're flipping it now. We're thinking about life more broadly, more abstractly. So now it makes more sense for my wish.
Yes. And this is a really fun kind of connection skill here. To be sort of fun and funny and playful. When a friend is using this, just like, oh, I would like this, you can sort of in a playful way, make it bigger about the future, about what you want for life, right?
Yeah,
it's really just like a joke, but a joke that's based in truth.
And again, it comes back to that core skill, that connection skill of we want to be able to express our personalities in English. And I've said in a past episode just recently, I know this is something a lot of our listeners want to be able to do, right?
Absolutely. And I think that happens often in the role plays, that it's my personality coming through. This is something I would say to a friend, right?
Yeah.
And it's just fun. It's playful, but yeah, it does build connection because I'm sort of in a joking way going deeper with you and sharing, like, I'm burned out, but instead of just saying to you, I'm overwhelmed, I'm burned out, I say it in a very fun way.
Yeah, because it's a bit of a downer when someone's always saying, oh, I have so much work to do, I have so many emails, right? That's a downer.
That's not really in my personality. This is the way I would share that.
Yeah, a little sarcastic, a little bit implying things, right? Love that. So guys, go and check out episode 2584. Don't let your English stoop to this level. So Michelle and I just recorded that one this morning. It's a great one. Don't miss it.
Yes. Scroll up if you missed it and be sure to hit follow. If you missed it, you're likely missing some of our amazing episodes.
That's it. All right. Good stuff today, Aubrey. We'll see you on the next episode. All right. You have a good rest of your day. All right.
You too. See you next time.
Bye.